Re-radicalising them involves... Kelly Simcock and Manwar Ali are intervention providers, meaning they work with people of all ages and backgrounds who have been or have the potential to be easy prey for a radicaliser. Is your approach similar, whether the extremism is coming from the far right or from Al-Qaeda? There are similarities in your approach?
There are huge similarities in the approach in terms of whether or not it comes from the far right or from AQ-informed ideologies, in the sense that so many of the things that we do to safeguard and support people will essentially require the same sort of ingredients. We start off, first of all, by assessing the vulnerabilities of that individual, understanding the wider set of circumstances as well in that person's life, getting to understand more about them, who they are as a person, what they do, what they enjoy doing, what they aspire to do and to be. And it certainly isn't, from our point of view, going in there with a preformed script as to how you're going to deconstruct the narrative that person comes along with, but rather it is a process of engagement in conversations. And the thing is, as well, is that this doesn't all happen in one slot, so to speak. Often it's a series of different sessions that will take place. So it might be about exploring historical facts. It might be about exploring political context of something. It might be about talking about the individual's esteem and their personal circumstances. It's often a combination of all of these things will be the things that we will roll together to, if you like, provide a successful intervention.
Manwar, how does your approach compare and contrast to Kelly's?
Everything Kelly said, ditto, ditto, ditto. Certainly empathy is very important, that the person feels that he can or she can trust you. So to build that trust and confidence, we have to first of all explore what are the issues that might be deemed radical. They might not be radical at all, just different ways of thinking. But then often such ideas can lead to action, which is more than just talk. And an action can be then something which can have an impact upon a large number of people. So we try to then show responsibilities of one's life and say, look, you have a family, you have a career, you have your own personal happiness to seek, but there are ways and means, whether in our religion or in society, which afford us the possibilities in different ways to realize how to address your frustrations, anger or resentment that you have, or sense of injustice and fairness. Kelly mentioned self-esteem. That's very important, that sometimes these people don't have that self-respect or self-esteem and don't even know their own potential. So we'd unlock them in terms of the potentials. And when they find their self-confidence, they find a connection with society, they find a sense of belonging, that the country is not just about politics, but it's about people.
So it's crucial to give people back a sense of meaning and purpose and
Absolutely,
belonging.
yeah. At a one-to-one basis, I mean, we are always very upfront. We are entirely transparent from the beginning. No hidden agendas. It is about caring and trying to be helpful, to let ourselves help each other.
That's really important to establish trust.
Extremely.
You have to trust each other,
yes.
And this is fundamental to this process.
So initially they are very inhibited, they feel inhibited and they're resisting. And then when they see you're open, you're not hiding, we're not there to spy on people. Our target and aim would be to make the person become more sensible so he can or she can have a good life.
So all the different groups of people who might be susceptible to radicalisation, from extreme right to AQ, what are the similarities that sort of bind them together?
I think the similarities are pretty much the whole way across the spectrum. I think that the thing that separates this or makes it slightly different is that some of it may be underpinned or supported by religious belief or a particular political ideology. And I think that's the only place where the differences really exist. Because actually I think the similarities in terms of the grievances, the injustices, or ideas around status and power, those sorts of things, you see those elements in certainly from my experience, coming through in various different ways, shapes and forms with people of all skin colours, backgrounds, creeds, nationalities. So
what is common, I think might be a stroppy thing to say, is I sat with many far-right people. When you speak to them, they're perfectly ordinary people, like any other Muslim radical I might have sat with. And they just have, as Kelly said, grievances. Too many immigrants they're taking our jobs. And the same thing the Muslim is actually saying, I can't get a job. And, and they have occupied our countries or colonialized or exploiting our natural resources. Then the question comes about how do you show patriotism to how do you become a responsible person? So it is always the same thing, God or no God in the picture.
A realistic response to someone targeted for radicalisation is the type of mentoring Kelly and Manwar spoke about. A redirection of energies in a safe space, allowing the vulnerable person to air their concerns, frustrations and even anger, and showing them legitimate ways to address them. If we're open-minded to the signs that someone needs our help, then support is on hand, both for them and for us.